Hey there, guys. Welcome back to PVS Live here. Today, this is number 2 of the PVS Live show, and I'm playing around with yet another new encoder. So I'm hoping it does a little bit better. I gave a lot of different pieces of software and pieces of hardware some chances over the last few days, and I just don't feel like I have as much customization unless I use an encoder that's directly on the computer. But I do plan on the next show to also give the Google Hangouts setup a genuine, honest try. And the main reason I'm going to do that is because all the encoding is done on Google servers instead of on my computer. So without having to turn around and build a dedicated streaming server or computer that handles all the streaming for me, because I don't know if this thing is going to be a success yet or not, then that's just the way I'm going to go. So I'm actually using OBS. So if you guys have never checked that out, it's actually an open source, open broadcasting streaming piece of software. Last week I was using Wirecast, and for whatever reason it was just chewing through CPU, really playing havoc with the whole system. So I've decided not to go that route this week. Give OBS its fair shot and see how it all plays out. So I definitely want to thank everyone for showing up tonight and discussing. This is a pretty important topic, I think. I mean, most of us have probably been in this predicament in one way or another. And the overall overarching question of the night is, should I work for free? And I would almost be willing to bet that probably 95% of every single person that's ever done any kind of photography work has in fact done at least one job for free. Probably more, though. That being the case, I think we, as a profession, should actually discuss whether or not that would be the right thing for us to do. There are so many times where we get kind of wrangled into hooking somebody up. You know, it's like, hey, you're my brother from another mother. Will you shoot my wedding, or will you take photographs of my baby or whatever? And what ends up happening is that it never just stops with that one time. Anytime there ends up being an event in someone's life, they come back to you because you did it once, you'll probably do it again. So I think that we're all kind of faced with that challenge, and us as professionals, we have a business to run. So what I basically want to do is I want to get some feedback from you guys and actually talk to you all about what you all think is a good idea. So if you have experiences working for free as a photographer, please leave those comments over on the YouTube chat room, and let's talk about it. I think that it will probably end up turning out to be a pretty interesting conversation. I also wanted to discuss a couple of things on the side from that. So before we actually get into our main topic of should you work for free, I also wanted to talk about a couple of other things that I have been increasingly noticing here lately on YouTube. But I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about YouTube itself before we get into those two topics. So first thing, YouTube has got a load of brand new stuff that's going to be coming out here very, very soon that are going to help us as creators to better do our job. What they have planned, they have about 10 brand new features that they plan on releasing to us. Better stats, better mobile apps that will allow us to better do our job. Because I have been finding a lot of flaws. The more you use YouTube, the more you actually have to work within that ecosystem. You do find a lot of flaws. You find a lot of problems. And so they are releasing some new tools for us, at least on the mobile platform. They're also going to be making streaming a bit better for us. And apparently they're going to be improving some of the ingestion stuff for streaming. So now that I'm doing a live streaming show, I find that absolutely invaluable. I don't think that I could do this like I am if it wasn't for YouTube. I mean, that's where my audience is. I know a lot of people started going the Periscope route. And I gave it a try a couple of times. I don't think that it's a bad platform, but I mean, the long and short of it is that my audience is not on Twitter. I can't genuinely get you guys on Twitter to save my life. It's pretty crazy, actually. But I do think that YouTube is probably going to, at least some point in the future, develop some sort of app that's like that. So that even while we're on the go, we can do some live streaming out there to you guys as well. And that's what I'd really like to be able to do is, you know, if I see something or I'm doing something and I think that it would benefit you guys, just being able to turn that app on and be able to live stream directly to my audience and have that content delivered to you on the fly, I think that's pretty awesome. So the other thing that I was wanting to talk to you guys about is the fact that YouTube is also supposed to be improving. Let me just double check what it is, because I know that there was a lot of stuff. And let's see, I think it's under their creators. That is not how you spell creators. Creators. YouTube. Log. That's where it was, and I apologize for not having it pulled up, but yep, it's YouTube creator. Okay, here's what they were going to be improving, and this is the one that I think that I'm going to really be down for, and that is subscriber notifications. And this is what it says under the title heading. It says, your fans don't want to miss out on videos from their favorite creators, and neither do we. So we're building a simple new way for fans to opt in to get mobile and email notifications each and every time the channels they subscribe to publish a new video. I think that's really awesome, because as it stands now, whenever we as YouTube creators put out a new video and try and make sure that it gets into your all's hands, sometimes the roundup email that YouTube sends out, I mean, it ends up taking forever. It's a total pain in the ass. So sometimes you guys aren't even alerted to the fact that I've released something, or any of your other YouTube channels, until like 2 or 3 days later. And that sucks, because everyone that does YouTube channels knows that the first 24 hours of a YouTube video being uploaded are the most vital. They're the most important. They are what will help generate interest in both the channel and the content. So, and the other thing that they were going to update were new types of cards. And I like cards. The ones that pop up little informational blocks about other videos you might want to check out, or help support or fund your favorite YouTuber. They help us promote content, sell merchandise, raise funds, and we've been providing them with a lot of feedback. So they've been trying to take all that feedback into consideration, and they're going to go forth and develop even new and better cards. So first up, the channel card will basically let you link your videos to other channels. And that will be a fantastic way for people like me who want to collaborate with other YouTubers to say, yo, this is the work that I did with another creator, and here's their channel. Go check them out. Be sure to subscribe to their content. It's amazing. And I think that's a way for us as content creators to share our traffic back and forth. Cross-pollination in YouTube is key. So I know this doesn't really apply to everyone that watches my channel, but I do know that there are quite a few people that actually are interested in improving their YouTube creator content. So, but like I was saying about the better live streams, what they're saying here is, quote unquote, we've made it easier for you to set up and manage your live streams, and we're better to show them off than in our upcoming YouTube gaming app. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. It might be in beta. But I've not seen a spec one about what this new app is even going to look like. So I'm hoping that it ends up being pretty awesome. But who really knows for sure until it comes out. So now on to the other thing that I was talking about. The stuff that I have seen here on YouTube that has been coming up more and more on a much more regular basis is, and this is me just blathering on, so it is somewhat of a bit of a rant, and I would actually like to make a fully dedicated video about this particular topic. And I genuinely hope that the people that are actually subscribed to my channel, I mean, I don't really care what anyone else does on other people's channels, but I do really genuinely care about the community and the group of amazing artists and photographers and videographers that I have fostered on this channel. And essentially what I'm seeing more of around YouTube, especially when it comes to gear, is this massive air of elitism. I don't really understand the elitism. And what I mean by elitism is this unimaginable love and devotion for telling someone else that what they have is shit and that they suck and that they're never going to amount to anything unless they buy this more high-powered, high-priced gear. Are there gear pimps on YouTube? Yes. Yes, there are. Some of them not as bad as other ones, but some of them are still pretty bad. The problem is, at least in my eyes, is that there are so many people out there that never in a million years are ever going to do photography professionally. And that's their day in, that's their day out. That is where every last red cent of their income comes from. And they just don't require $20,000 worth of gear to quench that passion that they have inside themselves. I mean, I don't really understand what the fuck is going on with people just bashing other people because of what they own. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing this. To a large extent, I want that to be the case. But the fact of the matter is that most of the people that watch this channel, they're kids. They're in high school. They're just starting college. Maybe they just got their photography degree and maybe they don't feel like they got their money's worth. Whatever the case may be. But they are coming to channels like mine looking for information, looking for some inspiration, looking for someone to help reinforce that passion without making them feel like a complete and total jerkwad for owning something that is priced competitively, specifically for consumers in the first place. So I really hope that it's none of you guys that are actually engaging in that kind of stuff. I really would hate for that to be the case. I don't want people to treat other people, at least here on my channel, like shit. There are a lot of young kids, they're just getting started, and they don't really need to hear all that hassle. And that's for real. By the way, I wanted to let everyone know that this is, in fact, a live show. If you head on over to the YouTube watch page, you can watch this stream and also chat with other people in the chat room. So if you guys didn't know that already, please head on over to the YouTube watch chat room. These kinds of programs are always so much better when you guys actually participate and become a part of the show. So I hope you guys will do that. And if you're not, that's cool too. You can always hit me up over if you happen to be on that social media website, and you can use the hashtag PVS Live and send me a comment, and I will read it here on the show. And if you'll pardon me for just a moment, I'm going to take a vape. All right. That was delicious. Okay. So please don't do the elitism thing. It really is. It is the bane of my existence, and I hate to see other people do that. You are not better than anybody. You're definitely not better than me. You're not better than anyone else, so don't do that. Okay? People like what they like. And, you know, sometimes you could put a $30,000 Phase 1 format with digital back in your hands, and it genuinely might be one of the best cameras on the market. But if it doesn't feel good in your hands, if it doesn't facilitate a more creative attitude or spirit, then it might as well be a $10 hunk of shit. I mean, that's the reality of cameras. Everyone is built just a little bit differently. Everyone has vastly different opinions, and a lot of people have vastly different ideas about what is going to feel good in the hands. So you've got to recognize that and not bash somebody just because they happen to use something that you don't like. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and swap over here to my community feed. I'm actually going to tell you guys this. Let me see. Okay. This is the one I want you to read right here. And I'm actually calling this person out because they made their comment public. So, you know, what the hell? I have no qualms. And this is by someone, I believe, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's Angel is One, perhaps. And what they're talking about here is the video that I released about the A7R Mark II. And, of course, I don't own the camera because it's not been released yet. And, of course, I've not had a chance to actually review the camera because it's not out yet. But this was the comment nonetheless. This person says, this would be a nice camera for shooters that do not like to learn the art of photography. So only buy this camera if you don't want to learn the art of photography. They go on to say, the one that buys and sells and using raw and cheap daily with Photoshop. Don't really know what that means. I'm assuming that English is not their first language. Anyway, they go on to say, you do know that many are letting the camera do everything for him or her. Beginners and claim pros want low lighting cameras because they can't afford a fine flash or just don't know how to use one. But it is still useless using when shooting for quality at f8 or higher. Do you know how many are willing to buy a Carl Zeiss Otis 55 1.4 and 85 1.4? Or how about the ATG Zeiss T Otis 2 55 1 and the 85 1.2? I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there willing to buy that. So basically what he's saying, or she is saying, they are saying, up to this point is that the only people that want low light performing cameras and glass are people that can't afford a fine flash, because flashes are very expensive these days. They then go on to say Sony does not have pro cameras for professional photographers. So check this out. Look, for all you professional photographers, if you're using a Sony right now, you done fucked up. That's not a professional camera. You don't want that. You're not going to be able to get your job done. You're probably going to lose money. And, you just suck, really, is what he's trying to say. Goes on to say, Sony is not becoming like Leica. And right there, screams elitism. It really does. Pisses me off, actually. I like Leica. I just can't afford one. It's not really conducive to my creative workflow in particular. They go on to say, today they are only making amateur cameras that the pros love to use but can't afford to switch from Canon or Nikon. I afforded it 8 months ago or 7 months ago. I was using nothing but Nikon camera bodies, Nikon lenses, and Nikon flashes. That's all I owned. But Sony impressed me that much that I made the switch. He goes on to say the last pro camera was the Sony A900, and that resale of the A900 gone down the drain when the SLT A99 came to play. Now the A7 RMR2 series has put the SLT A99 in the history books. The resale values on Sony cameras are just as good as people trying to sell their BMW 7 series. Oh, man. I can't even begin to tell you how bad this kind of attitude pisses me off. First of all, 95% of the people that probably watch this channel have never owned a BMW 7 Series. I don't really see how that's relevant to taking good pictures. So, I was so blown away by the total comment that was presented here that I said, we'll switch back here for a second. I even said, is this a spoof comment? I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely blown away that someone would even say it. And they go on to say, no, it's a fact. More people are buying and selling their cameras because they have been fooled by many reviewers. And I guess he's probably talking about me. So what I've done is I have fooled you. You are honest beings. You are simply robots under my control. I have fooled you. I have defrauded the public by announcing my opinion in favor of Sony cameras. And then what I did is I put a gun to your head and I forced you to go out and purchase a Sony camera, a Sony lens, a Sony accessory, what have you. If that's not the most ludicrous shit you've ever heard, I don't know what is. I do a lot of stuff, but fraud or defrauding or fooling people is not one of them. I can't make you do jack shit. All I can do is tell you what I like, what I use, the kind of settings that I happen to employ during my creative journey. And if you all are genuinely looking for that kind of information, you might hear it and you might use it. But in no way, shape, or form can I make you or lie to you into buying anything. And, the fact of the matter is that everyone's different. You may end up liking what I recommend, and you might not. But, again, that's the reason I'm constantly pushing using Amazon services, because they have a fantastic return policy. You can literally buy just about anything there. And if you absolutely, positively hate the product, you can send it back. No questions asked. Okay? a lot of people use other services, whatever. I just find Amazon to be as hassle-free as possible. So if I recommend something and you genuinely don't like it, that's cool by me. You can send it back and get yourself a refund. So, moving on. Then he says, just buy one good camera body, nice optics, flash, and a tripod. Read the book, take classes, and explore everything with those items. Buying a new body every 1 to 3 years will not improve your arts. Learn from the masters like these. ATG, Ansel Adams, Oscar Barnack, what is that? Yoshi Isa, I don't know. I don't speak Chinese, but it sounds Chinese. If it's Japanese, or if it's, I think it's Japanese actually. Anyway, and Victor Hasselblad. They all do not need to buy camera bodies and lenses like many today's shooters. I bet many, including yourself, have never heard of ATG and Yoshi Martini. That's what I'm calling it, Martini. Yoshi Martini. Now, don't try and use a computer to check, and if you do, you will know. Well, no shit, if I did it, of course I would know. Okay. It's pretty brutal, these kinds of comments. In his original reply to me on the video or whatever, was that people cheat daily because they use Photoshop. Ansel Adams loved post-processing. He really did. If you all don't believe me, go look. Go look. People misuse Ansel Adams all the time. Like, all Ansel Adams ever did was he just went out to the... he went outside, found a beautiful landscape, and just took a picture, and that was it. That was the end of Ansel Adams' work. He never used any kind of filters. He never used any kind of post-processing in the darkroom or anything. He took what he took, and that's exactly the way he saw things. I've got a newsflash for every single one of you out there. That is not the case. Photo manipulation has been happening since the art of photography began. And anyone that doesn't believe me can literally go and check. I mean, it's everywhere. You can find it anywhere. Ansel Adams loved to alter his photography. There's even a quote by him or something. It's about, the post-process, something to the effect of is correcting the things that God didn't create or something like that. So for all you people that love God or whatever, it might be a little bit offensive. But the fact of the matter is, Ansel Adams loved photo manipulation. He used filters. He altered his photography all the time. That's just a fact. So anyway, I want to move along and read you my response, because this is the kind of stuff that I just can't stand, really. I end up saying, I said, I have no intention of arguing with you, but you sound like an elite head when you make statements like, Sony do not have pro cameras for professional photographers. A professional can create amazing things with whatever you put in their hands. And that's a fact. That's true. And there are more pros making the switch every day. Do I care what you shoot with? No. I give zero shits, and you shouldn't care what you shoot with. If you like your gear, you can keep your gear. Don't come to my house telling me what works for me isn't up to snuff. I'm grown, and I can figure that out for myself. By the way, if you have something meaningful to contribute to the conversation, fine, but I won't put up with elitist trolling. There are plenty of other channels that would love to have that kind of bullshit floating around. This ain't one of them. I would read the rest. I mean, but it really is. It's just dumb. But that's the kind of stuff that I don't want hanging out on the channel at all. I really don't. There are a lot of other channels that would probably love to have that kind of debate and stuff. I just find it very asinine, very unhelpful, and not all that big of a fan for real. So if that happens to be, what people are into or whatever, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm not all that upset if people end up not watching because of that fact. I'm okay with that. I really am. And there are negative people already, so I don't want more hanging out on the channel. And that's not me trying to be an elitist shithead. That's just that I'm trying to foster some positive, good vibes here. And I'm not much into censorship or anything, but at the same time, it's like, how much unconstructive blather can be tolerated before you're really wasting your time? I mean, time is a finite thing. You genuinely do only have a certain amount of it, for real. So there's absolutely no reason to waste it on someone that has proven themselves, especially right out of the gate, to be nothing more than a mouthpiece for the trolls of the world. So, I believe that pretty much covers up the rant I had about the elitist trolls. Don't be those. Most people are not going to appreciate it. Don't. And at the end of the day, I mean, it just doesn't really add much to the conversation at all. So. Let me go ahead and get to our main topic now. By the way, I wanted to let everyone know that this is in fact a live show, so if you're interested, come on over to the live stream. Go to the watch page, hang out in the YouTube chat room, and contribute with your fellow photographers here on the show. So the main question, the main theme of tonight's show was, should you work for free? Well, I've got a few things to say about that. Okay. This is highly controversial. This is just my opinion. Do not take this as gospel. Do not take this as fundamental, unequivocal, canonical truth. This is opinion. But an opinion that many other professionals that are actually doing work share. I'm going to go ahead and disclaimer by just saying that ultimately you should do whatever you think is going to benefit you. But let me talk about a few of the things that you should consider before you actually make your decision. When it comes to working for free, it's a crapshoot. It really is. Sometimes it's going to be the best decision you've ever made. Other times, it's going to be the worst decision you've ever made. So it's not always going to make sense. It's not always going to add up. It's not always going to be what you hope for. And that's disappointing. But there are so many reasons why you should not, under any circumstances, ever work for free. Always work for some sort of mutually beneficial exchange of time, talent. Cash is always good. But there are very, very few reasons to ever work for free. Okay? The number one reason being is that if you set a precedent of doing stuff for free, there's almost a 100% likelihood that you are going to be known as the wonderful, amazing photographer that will do it for free. They won't just stop with you're an amazing, wonderful photographer and you have amazing skills that you have spent years and years and years devoted to your craft, developing those skills. You will always be known as the wonderful, wonderful, amazing photographer that has spent years and years developing your skills that works for free. There are people that say, yeah, but man, I don't have a portfolio yet. So maybe I need to do some work for free to build up that portfolio. You don't realize the fact that when you're in that kind of situation, you're actually not doing any work for free. What you're doing is that is a mutually beneficial exchange of services. If you do not have any portfolio in which to show other clients so that you can attain work on your own, a mutually beneficial exchange would mean that you do some work and you get to use all the photographs that you take for that event or whatever it is, and you get to use it to promote yourself in a different way. That is a mutually beneficial exchange. And I believe that it's probably a mutual exchange that many of us have done. The problem ends up coming in is that if you do, okay, let's just say that your best friend ever, if they ask you to shoot their wedding, right? This is the first time they've ever asked you to, I don't know, cut them some slack, do a favor. First of all, if they're your best friend, I would think that you would probably either be the best man or the maiden of honor. But, you know, maybe you're a second string best friend. Who the hell knows? But at any rate, so they ask you to do their wedding. You go, sure, man, that's awesome. I'll do that for you, no problem. What ends up happening is about a year down the road, he and his lady friend get pregnant, and now they want you to shoot baby pictures. And then they're like, hey, man, will you shoot my baby pictures for free? And now you're in that weird, awkward predicament where you go, I want to help a brother out, but I would also like to eat. And let's not pretend like there are some magical berries that fall from heaven when you hook a brother up. You know what I mean? You're not getting paid by doing charity work. You do charity work when you can afford to do it, when you can afford to lose some money. There is an amazing little chart that floats around the internet quite a bit. And if you guys have never seen it, I'm going to share it with you right now. And in the center of this chart is the question, should I work for free? And it's by Jessica Hish. And the four things that it says here says, is it for a legitimate business? Is it for a charity or nonprofit? Is it for your mom? And is it for your friend? And if you've never seen this, I'm going to put a link to it in the description box below. I'm doing that right now so that I don't have to remind you guys. But I'm just on the website right now. It's shouldiworkforfree.com. Let me go ahead and drop it in there real quick for you, though. The amazing thing about this particular chart is the fact that it is unbelievably accurate. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of ruin it for everyone. The question is it for your mom? Under that question, which is at the bottom of this triangle here, or a diamond shape, it says, is it for your mom? It's unequivocally yes. And it says, yes, 22 hours of labor, and you can't do one goddamn garage sale flyer. Come on. Okay? I agree. I definitely agree. If it's for mom, I mean, the woman gave life to you. You should bend over backward for that check. Okay? Now, everyone else on the chart has restrictions and stipulations that you're going to want to be aware of. So if you guys have gone to the website shouldiworkforfree.com, you should be able to follow along. Let's just start here on the left and see how it goes. On the left it says, is it for your friend? If the answer is yes, you should ask yourself, you mean the company your friend works for? And then if that one is yes, then you say no. Companies will often ask their employees about friends hungry for work and use the friend connection to take advantage. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. It is brutal. And then, of course, you follow the chart forward, and the whole friend one takes up a large section of the left-hand side. I think it's awesome, by the way. Okay, so is it for your friend? Yes, you mean the company your friend works for. If it's yes, then no, you don't work for free. If it's no, and then it goes on to say, are we talking like brother from another mother friend? If you say no, ask yourself, are you good friends, if you know what I mean? If it's yes or no, don't do it. You're not a prostitute. That's as far as I'll go on the friend one, but like I said, you can always read it for yourself. If you go to the top where it says, is this or is it for a legitimate business? If it's yes, if it is for a legitimate business, if it is for any business in your hometown, I don't care. If it is someone that is in the business of selling a product or service and actually turning a profit, the question you should ask yourself is, did they promise you quote-unquote exposure or quote-unquote a good portfolio piece? If the answer is yes, no. This is the most toxic line of bullshit anyone will ever feed you. I can't agree with that statement enough. Anytime someone tries to offer you free exposure, it is complete horseshit. Okay? 9 times out of 10, no one is going to know. No one's going to know that it was you that took that picture or created that flyer or whatever. No one's going to know. No one will care. Look at how many times you've maybe sifted through a magazine or saw an amazing flyer. Did you check down in that little bitty tiny fine print and see designed by? No, you never have, and you never will, unless you happen to run a business and you want their services. But long and short of it is that it just doesn't usually happen on a regular basis. I mean, it just doesn't. And that's unfortunate. It really is, because I would like it to be I'd like it simpler for us. And creatives as a whole. I don't understand why fixing a car is an important, vital service that is worthy and deserving of payment, that building a house is a worthy craft that is deserving and worthy of payment, that being a meter maid is worthy of payment. But for some effed up reason, when it comes to anything art related, if you have, the only time you will probably ever get paid is after the fact. Maybe when you die, perhaps, if you're a true artist, you've really created some profound works. 20 years after you're dead, perhaps you'll get Someone will be trading your artwork for millions of dollars. It might go into an estate, but you'll never get to see any of it. So, for anyone that's ever decided to get into the creative arts, aside from acting, acting really is probably one of the only creative arts that actually pays. But of course, you have to be creme de la creme, or even then you don't get paid. There are a lot of starving artists out there. Then, of course, if you answer the question, is this a legitimate business? If you answer no, did they promise you lots of future work? I have this one all the time. Look, man, if you hook me up with this or photography project, I'm going to hook you up with so much work down the line. No. Just no. Don't do it. The actual graph says, yippee, the promise of more cheap free work, hooray. And that's essentially what it means. Okay? There was actually a company, I used to do, I didn't do much web coding, but I did more web design, where, I have a creative eye for making aesthetically pleasing things. So this company where I used to live recognized that, and me being young, impressionable, and skilled, they took advantage of me. And I let them, because there was always that promise of future work. And every single time I did said future work, I always got shafted. And it was always a promise of later on. And it never materialized. I was basically butt raped by that guy for months. For months, I was heavily taken advantage of. It'll never happen again. Fool me once. That's pretty much the way that goes. Fool me once. By the way, I want to remind everyone that this is in fact a live show, so if you want to come and hang out, I am trying to check the comments semi-frequently while I'm doing this. I'm all by myself, so I'm pretty much having to run this gig all by myself, which is totally fine. It does make it quite a bit of a logistical nightmare from time to time, so please don't hold this against me. I'm just looking for some good conversation with some other great creative minds. So, also, let's move forward with this. Okay, so did they promise you lots of future work? If you said yes, you just say no. If you can honestly answer no, they did not promise you that, you should ask yourself, are they a startup? And if you say, yes, they are, they just got started, then no. The word startup is used pretty loosely by businesses to get you to charge them less. And that's a fact. If they are looking for something, especially advertising related, then just no. Fucking no. Don't do it. These companies are of making money, and so are you. You're not a charity. And if you are, this conversation is not for you. But if they're not a startup, then you say, no, I want you to pay me. They just happen to use a different choice of words, which is make it rain, bitches. And I'm totally for that. Look, I am a free market capitalist. I like to be rewarded for my hard work. No less and no more than anyone else. I just want to be paid for what I'm worth. If I trade minutes and hours and perhaps even weeks of my life, then I want to be compensated for that. I mean, that's the only reason to do anything, is if you're going to be compensated for your time. You spent the time to get the education, learn all the skills, get everything down pat. The least I can do is go, this is a human being who has taken a lot of time out of their life to learn these skills, just like any other profession. An auto mechanic, someone that, bags groceries. I mean, even that skill, which is not even that much of a skill, but it is still a skill to bag groceries efficiently and bag them properly in a timely manner. Even they get paid minimum wage, but for some reason, people just think that if you're in the arts, then you don't deserve payment. It's the oddest thing. I don't understand it. Okay. So now, should you work for free? The section there on the right-hand side says, is it for a charity or a nonprofit? Let me go ahead and show it to you. Is it for a charity or nonprofit? Okay, if it's yes, do you mean a band? And then if the answer is yes, then no. Just because a business is, that doesn't make them a nonprofit. Okay? There is a massive difference. Just because they have not figured out the business side of things and are able to run a profitable business does not mean that they are not in the business of trying to make money at least at some point. Okay? But if they happen to say no, okay, then you ask yourself, do you vehemently oppose the cause or what they do? If it's yes, an angry letter or even considering you'd work for them. If it's yes, then no, and then you go ahead and send that letter. But if you vehemently oppose the cause or what they do, whether it be yes or no, you just say no. Don't continue that thing. I mean, you really do have to get this through your head that time is finite and you don't have much of it. There's absolutely no reason to waste your time if you can avoid it. I mean, your time is very valuable because you don't know when it's going to run out. I don't care what they promise you or what they tell you, you should do it. But honestly, this is a really good chart overall. And it does cover the basics. And these are the basics of doing business. Not just for people that are in the creative arts, but I mean for everyone. A lot of big companies out there that I said do again. It's the damnedest thing. That do charitable work. Or they give charitably. And I think that all of those things are fine if you have it to give. But the fact of the matter is that you are in the business of generating business and making money to put food into your mouth. Even people that I absolutely positively don't want to charge because I love them as friends, I'll go, when they say, how much would you charge? I mean, that is the most decent thing that anyone could ever ask you, especially if they're a friend. How much would you charge to take pictures of my or whatever? If they say that, usually I take that as an olive branch. They're asking respectfully and kindly because they know that you probably shouldn't work for free, but they can't afford how much you genuinely charge, but they're at least asking. And then what I ultimately end up saying, I'll say, look, I want you to pay me what you think. Just tell me the date. And sometimes it will not always be exactly what you had hoped it would be, but at least they A, asked, and then B, made the effort. I actually received a really nice card from a couple that they were getting married. It was kind of seat of their pants type deal. I didn't even know that they were getting married until about maybe a week or two beforehand. And they asked me, they said, Mark, how much would you charge me or us to take pictures of our wedding? And I said, oh, honey, I said, I love you guys. I tell you what, why don't you just pay me whatever you think I'm worth? Tell me the date and the time and the place, and I'll be there. That was pretty much the end of the conversation. And so I get there, I do the work, I come home, and I have a card that has been stuck in my backpack, and I open it up, and I look inside, and there was a $100 bill. And there was a beautiful little note that was written and said, Mark, we could never afford what we know you're worth. But we are so happy that you have decided to share a special day with us. Again, to thank you enough. And then it went on to say some other really beautiful, touching, heartwarming things. And that was my payment. That was my payment. So I think that if more people went that route, instead of just going, oh, honey, I could never charge you anything, just say, I realize that your day is a special day and my time is very valuable. Why don't you just pay me what you think I'm worth? what you think that, you know, you're going to require out of me for the day, and when you need me to be there, and I'll be there. And I think that ends up working out mutually beneficial for both people. That way, you are working for free, but you are also not jacking your best friend out of, you know, $2,500 shoot. You know, most people are having a rough time these days, but it's still valuable. Your time still has worth, and you have to keep that in your mind no matter what. I mean, I think it's very important. Now, if your buddy saved your life, I mean, come on. Hook your friend up. If he saved your life, maybe pulled you from the jaws of a bear, something like that, something crazy, you really should do the right thing and help your friend out. So, but, you know, the whole issue of working for free, it has a lot of different, it drums up a lot of emotions for a lot of people, especially between friends and family and people that are very close, because they really do. For a large part of our friends and our family, they expect us to work for free. And genuinely, we just can't do it. Because we would never ask our friends to go to their jobs and work for free. I mean, we would just never do it. And I don't think that it's really fair. I mean, you almost have to kind of question sometimes. You almost have to question the level of friendship you genuinely have with these people if they are honestly asking you to work for nothing. Especially if they've been friends with you for any good length of time. Maybe you all should like have these conversations pre-weddings and pre-babies and all that kind of stuff. Remind them, man, I have put in a lot of work. I have put in a lot of time. Oh man, I studied for, 86 hours this week. It was just crazy. And maybe you could maybe guilt to a reasonable check. You know what I'm saying? But you should never just work for free just because they're friends or family. But if it's mom, dad, yeah, that's a 50-50 crapshoot. Someone asked, how about dad? Dads didn't carry you for 9 months. Mom's kind of got the monopoly on doing free shit for her. Not only did she give birth, but she carried you too. Let you suckle on her breast. This is getting weird. I'm just going to stop that whole thing. But moms kind of get a free ride. I don't know. It's an unspoken law. I don't know. I would do it. So that's my take on should you work for free. And, a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me. I think that if you are going to do any level of work genuinely for free, then please do it via barter. Get something out of the deal. That way it isn't truly free. If you have a model come in and they decide to pose for you or hook you up, then that's fine. Go ahead and trade services. If you have a specific product and you are looking for someone that fits the bill and you don't really have the money to pay them for that project, as much as they don't have the money to pay you to take the pictures, then you mutually and beneficially trade off with each other. And you get to build portfolio, and they get to build portfolio, and you both benefit. And no money had to be exchanged. So, ultimately, that's what you're really looking for. You're looking for a mutually beneficial exchange, whether it be through cash or services or just trading out. So, that's all I got for you guys tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and please come on over to the live show on during next week, and make sure that you hang out with your fellow photographers and share your thoughts and opinions. And also, if you're watching this after the fact, after it's been recorded, don't forget to leave comments down in the comment section so that we can discuss things further after the show, because I always check my comments on a daily basis, and I always try to respond to those people that have taken the time to comment on my channel. I will always take the time to comment back and answer questions. So thanks again for stopping here at PVS Live. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again in the next one.